I am doing great, Kayleen. I'm so excited about our guest today, Chris Maier. You're going to love this guy. He is just so energetic, and he's just the best connector, I think, in our industry. I know here in Atlanta, he just does an amazing job, and he's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to meet him.
Yeah, I'm really excited. And, normally before we kind of kick off the show, we give it a few moments to let our fans tune in. And so for those of you joining us, hello, I'm Kayleen McCabe. I'm a contractor and nerd for construction, joined always with my co-host Scott Sheeler, who's the founder and president or all of awesomeness with SEPCA. So Scott, how are you doing this week? What's new?
Well, this is a busy time of year for SEPCA because the summer is coming up fast, which means our students are starting to graduate from the construction programs. And so what that means is they're ready to go to work in our industry. So it's an exciting time where we finally start connecting students with real jobs. And the reality here in Georgia right now, Kayleen, is we have over 10,000 open construction jobs right here in Georgia. You can go on monster.com or indeed.com and you'll see over 10,000 construction related jobs open right now in Georgia. And our goal before the end of the year is to place at least 1,000 high school students in the construction industry. And so this is a busy time of year for us. And we place those students, through our K-12 pipeline, but also through our Construction Ready program. And so, we had the guest on last week, the mayor from Savannah, talking about our expansion there. So it's a busy time of year, but it's an exciting time of year because we're putting people to work in our industry, which is what this is all about, right? We're getting kids excited, we're getting people trained, but at the end of the day, we want to get them working in our industry. That's what SEPCA is all about. And so this is a really important time of year for us.
That is such good news, Scott. And I'm really excited about the 1,000 placements because, it really is getting people employed is the end goal for all this. And so actually, before we bring our guest on, as usual, you and I geek out about something that we're nerds for, which obviously construction is one of them. And I am excited to chat with Chris because his the foundation and that we're going to talk about, I think, is really interesting and going to be very beneficial for the people in Georgia. But I was thinking about how much I love building, and I don't know if you've seen the price of lumber recently. It's off the charts. And I can't stop building, Scott. That's the problem. Like, even though this stuff's crazy expensive, I need to tinker and work with my hands. So I found another outlet, and I have to share with you the best Lego build that I've ever done is this tree house. I am not even sponsored. Lego doesn't sponsor it. This is the best build ever. There's hidden compartments in it. There's little secrets. And so, Scott, I'm just saying, the Star Wars Legos are cool, but this is amazing. So
you know what it looks like to me, Kayleen? It looks like an Ewok village. My son built, an Ewok village at one point, and it looked a lot like that.
Yes.
And so yes. that is amazing. I mean, how long did it take you to build that?
Well, it's just me, and I'm a nerdy adult, so kind of a short amount of time because I had a lot of free time to work on it. But it was the most creative, and I've done the Ewok village as well and put that together. But this was so creative and amazing, and I started to think about, I still love building Legos as an adult, but then you think of all the other industries it can spawn off into, and I love that SEPCA really does take kids, actual younger people who like playing with Legos, and then can continue the path to eventually having a job in the industry. And so yeah, I had to share. I love this build so much. I'm going to take it apart and do it again. It was just that good. That never happens.
Well, and you see our work, Kayleen, from beginning to end, because you help us so much on the front end with our Little Builders program, getting young kids excited about our industry. What I'm talking about is the back end work, right? Where we take them years later and now they're saying, hey, I want to work in construction. And we say, hey, we want to connect you with an employer. And that's what we want to talk with our guest about today, is the importance of networking and connections, because it's one thing to have the training and have the credentials, But in order to get that job, a lot of times it's about who you know, right? And it's about being connected with employers. And that's a big part of what Stefka does. And it's a big part of what Chris Maier does. He's an amazing connector of people. And I'm so glad that you're going to get to meet him today.
Yes, me too. And in fact, welcome Chris to the chat. Hello. And real quick, Scott, you're going to be hanging out for the rest of the show and answering any questions, but you'll be around at the end to geek out about our conversation, right?
I will. I'll be back. Chris, I'll see you in a minute, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Scott.
Okay.
Sweet. Chris, welcome to lunch. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'm really excited that you are joining us. So you're the business development person with Cooper Construction, but today I really want to talk about the foundation that you've started, the construction. Oh wait, it's contractors, closers, and connections. There's so many.
I get it wrong all the time too.
Right? Like
yeah.
all of the cool C things. So tell me a little about first, what do you do with Cooper Construction?
So yeah, Cooper and Company, we're a commercial general contracting firm. I've been with them for about 1.5 years now. And Cooper and Co, I'll use the word 50 a lot because it makes things a little bit easier. We might not be able to say that in the next couple of years, but we're about a $50 million company in revenue. We're a 50-50 to the private sector, to the public sector, and we're under 50 employees. And we pretty much do about 50% renovation addition work as to new construction. So things are going great for us right now. All different types of product types, vertical markets, from medical to mixed use to storage and even car dealerships. We kind of know what we're not, which is big hospitality builders and big box retail. Other than that, we can pretty much take on any endeavor from $1 to $5 million to 10 to 20 million. So that's what I do for the company, is bring in and establish new relationships in the private sector.
That's a fantastic, and I just think that most folks don't realize the scope of construction and all the different things we get to build and work on. So it's really exciting that you're in kind of a different and fun market. So then tell me about the contractors, closers, and connections, because since you have definitely a lot of experience in the construction industry, I want to talk about what is up with this? What is it?
So yeah, the CCC in short started about 3 years back. Started it at a furniture showroom in Doraville, Georgia. I approached a gentleman, a friend of mine named Michael, and I said, I'm looking to put something together for the construction industry and for the commercial real estate industry, because I've been going to networking events and different associations for many, many years. There it is right there. You can see it. That's the first event. And even from the first event, you could see there, it was a completely packed house. I saw there was a demand for this in the marketplace, for individuals to make business personal again. That is our slogan. And just to get everybody together to network, from material suppliers to GCs to end user, developer, investor clients. And that was 3 years back. And we had a model of always dedicating towards our community and doing something good for a charitable cause, whether that be veterans or homeless or animals or children or what have you. We've done plenty of things in the past. So skip to today. Essentially what we've done in the past, really just the last year, Kayleen, is created the Construction Coffee Club. Those are accordingly morning presentation-based events that may highlight a new development or may have a panel of speakers that pertain to a particular topic like healthcare or industrial. And then the after hours events that I'm now throwing are very much more intimate for an exclusive audience of developers, owners, reps, special consultants, the finest engineers and architects throughout the Atlanta area, and have been very blessed recently to have just opened up this year a Tampa and Orlando chapter, so we can network and share a lot of resources between the different locations that have been established. So it's a professional networking association for the construction and commercial real estate industries.
That's absolutely fantastic, because it does come down sometimes to the network and the folks you know. And
yes,
the reality is it's a really tiny world. It's not as big as people think. And so getting to know and make friends with people that you'll do business with can be really beneficial. Well, okay, well that's my take on why having a network is really good. But I appreciate that you saw this need and kind of started to connect the dots, because without that, we aren't going to continue to grow the industry as we need to. So you've been in the construction industry your whole career. So tell me, what do you see as being the biggest need right now?
There's quite a bit of need in certain fields to include engineering and architecture, general contracting, and just skilled labor in the field. So, I know that a lot of colleges and different educational institutions are really incentivizing those types of laborers and different professions, because I think there's just a shortage of people getting into the market, whether it be real estate. I don't know if it's a lack of entrepreneurial spirit, or they don't feel like it's as maybe it's not as good as a desk job, but we're trying to change that. And I know SEPCA is certainly trying to change that.
Well, and also I think there's a lack of understanding on the different areas in the construction industry.
Right.
Obviously I come out of residential construction, and I think a lot of people think the notion is that like that's just construction. Like, okay, done. I could also go pick up a hammer and go build an auto dealership, which alas, I cannot. And so I think we need to do a better job on informing people the potential opportunities in the commercial world, because holy cow, if I had known, I would be playing with you folks.
Yeah, possibilities are endless. And you kind of hit it there too, is that the difference from residential to commercial is that sense of community. It really is a small world, and people can get really excited about building a legacy. It's not really for everybody to be, behind a desk and working in technology or different fields that are all great, but there's a certain calling that I think compels the professionals that do dedicate their lives to this field and to real estate, that builds a certain sense of pride. I don't see any other profession that, can say I constructed that building or had a part in this development. It's a certain sense of pride that's instilled in all of us.
And then it becomes an annoyance to all of our family members as you drive around town and be like, I built that.
That's right, always.
It's awesome, actually. I think it's great. So we did bring up the website a little bit earlier, and I know we'll touch on that again. Can you tell us what the website is real quick though?
So we actually have a website in the works. It's actually gone on for the past 2-3 years without a website, but what's coming out now is going to be a pretty exciting platform which integrates technology that's not been seen yet. We're about to roll it out. It's much like LinkedIn, but more specific to the construction and real estate industry, especially now seeing the need for virtual networking. We do a great job in person, and we've been holding events even through COVID on a monthly basis. So very proud of that. People are coming out by the groves, attracting new members, new companies, new sponsors. But this LinkedIn style platform we're about to roll out integrates with a company called BenSearch, where you can create your profile. You can go into the contractors, closers, and connections group towards Atlanta, Tampa, Orlando, and virtually start meeting and integrating and talking about events and sharing referrals and needs within this virtual community. And there's even a phone app. So that's going to be the next level of just integrating everybody, especially as the chapters continue to grow and expand.
That's absolutely brilliant and very, very smart. Because too, we do want to encourage the younger generation to get into the industry, and they're on the phone. Like, don't use it while you're using a chop saw, for Pete's sake, but that is how you're meeting people now. At normal times, you've had events every quarter, which I cannot wait for everything to open up, because I'm coming out to hang out. You updated or changed during the pandemic? I think you kind of touched on that before.
What changed essentially, or how it's been affected?
Yes.
So, we certainly from March, I would say, when the pandemic first began, we had to all feel it out and see how that was going. And then a couple months down the road, we don't really have the luxury in the construction industry of holding back. We really didn't close our office or operations for a day. I mean, our projects had to commence, so we did the best that we can as one of our core values at Cooper and Company to instill safety by implementing different sanitization measures and all the types of things that they're doing across the industry. But same thing with the events. We even had an event here in Atlanta on top of Ponce City Market's rooftop, open air. We scanned everybody with state-of-the-art technology to make sure they didn't have beavers as they came in, same as they would use in an industrial processing facility. And we told people, don't shake hands, do what you have to do, sanitize. We even had these glowing lightsabers that they could offer salutations to each other with. So it's about the best that you can do. And it's been going well, and we continue to move forward with it.
I love the creativity behind it. And it is important. You know, the industry did not slow down at all. In fact, I think with the pandemic, construction has picked up quite a bit. And the face-to-face network is so important. So in my experience, though, I've met a lot of contractors or people that are really siloed into their very like kind of specific area and genre. So how does CCC kind of help open up the pathways and that network? I like the glow sticks and high five thing. That's pretty good.
Well, you know, it all comes down to just asking good questions. And I feel like we do a good job of screening and making sure that these folks are the right fit for the CCC, because I've been to every acronym out there, from the AGC to the ABC to the AAA to BOMA, you name it. And I realize that they, you know, those, like you said, kind of are niche, or there might be just an association of apartment communities or general contractors, engineers, but we really do a good job bringing everybody in that's very eclectic. And then you could talk to, let's say, a particular architect who deals in a lot of retail developments. And it's just understanding that and making notes about them as we meet them. Because we're bringing people into this association slowly, one by one, making sure that if we're architect heavy, let's bring in some commercial real estate brokers, let's bring in some more developers or financial partners or whatever the group needs to keep a very fine, eclectic balance. So it's part of just getting a very solid core group of like-minded individuals that really do just enjoy interpersonal connections and learning what each other does. So it's about finding that balance, and we're doing a good job of that now. If you have the good foundation, it can grow from there. And I think that's what people enjoy now, and they see the difference as opposed to other organizations out there. And it's more private now. So I have a whole membership association now, a whole committee that's going to be outreaching to very specific people to keep that practice ongoing.
It's really good to hear, because having, you know, great representation of the industry in these foundations is critical. Believe it or not, there are some cowboys out there, or I don't know, we call them hacks. I'm not quite sure what the right lingo is, but having that connection is really important. And just saying that same, but you might have some people outside of your target area right now signing up to join this network, because I can see the value way beyond even just the face-to-face events. So
yeah, we welcome it.
Good. All right, game on. Hey, everybody, please sign up and join the Fun Network, and then we'll all have face-to-face events when we can. With this, CCC events also raise money for local nonprofits. And hey, full disclosure, you know, SEFCA is one of the organizations that benefits. Why did you choose to support SEFCA?
SEFCA is an incredible organization. I learned what Scott and the rest of the SEFCA family was doing, and there's no greater impact that you can make as a steward to the community other than serve the youth, the folks that are growing up in this industry and deserve to experience, you know, a positive experience in learning about construction, so that they can get involved. You know, and even at one of our last events, one of the most rewarding experiences that we've now started to institute is through my network and through conversations. I'll meet young people that have just, let's say, graduated from college, and we'll have them speak and prepare something, a 60-second commercial for hundreds of people to get their name out there and tell them we're interested in getting involved. And that was so productive. They're receiving invites and interviews for new positions. So that's really what it's about. Yeah. And me not having any children, that's more important to me than ever, because I'm not going to have any. So I might as well mentor a lot of young people while I'm at it.
I agree with that. So I'm going to be the Oprah with power tools. Like, you get a saw, you get a career. We're all high-fiving everybody. It's awesome.
Yes.
So, okay, what advice do you have for a student considering a career in the skilled trades? You know, I think show up on time and prove you got a job. That's kind of the simplest. But what extra steps should a student take?
You know, I think somewhere along the way throughout their life experiences, they somehow feel an interest. Maybe it was their family has a long line of being in the skilled trades, or their father was a general contractor. They just enjoy being outdoors, you know, so, you know, or they feel like they'd be a good project manager or something like that. So I think the most important thing to do is to take the initiative. I feel like a lot of people just kind of play it by ear, and they go by what they've learned in the textbooks. And, you know, by the time college rolls around, they pick a major, and whether it be construction management or anything of that nature, don't let it get to that point. You know, there's so many resources out there, like SEFCA and different local companies that would love to have an intern. And if you just ask them to go shadow for a day. I once thought I wanted to be a clinical psychologist, and then I learned that I don't care about people's issues as much as I thought I did. So there went my clinical psychology route, and I could have learned that very quickly if I just went ahead and spoke to a clinical psychologist before getting a degree.
It does, and really now with the because why? If you have to care all the time, ugh. But it's doing that little bit of research to find out the opportunities out there, and an internship is one of the best ways to really kind of explore and see what you like, or maybe what you don't like, and you aren't committing to 4 years of an education and a lot of debt behind something that in the end you're like, I think, yeah. So when we think of the skilled trades, we're often discussing those who work on a job site, because people still think that it's all about swinging a hammer or framing, but there is a lot of work that takes place before and after kind of like the physical work actually happens. What are some other construction-based career opportunities that students could consider?
Yeah, for instance, working at Cooper and Company and firms like ours in the general contracting business. There's pre-construction directors and coordinators that's where I started, was being a project coordinator and just calling the subs and making sure that they were vetted to work with the firm that I was with and work my way up into management. So there are different ways you can work in the logistical side and just really be that effort of support and, actually you can be in the operations end and kind of work as a dual kind of mixed role between the field and in the office and coordinate with pre-construction to carry out all the means and methods that you guys have put together to offer a successful project to the client. So there's so much behind it. Yeah, really is.
Yeah, sky's really the limit. I'm always shocked. Especially in the world of commercial too, you have such backup staff. You could even have people in the medical field who are doing fit tests for your employees, so it really is so incredibly broad. I know that you don't have your website quite going yet. I'm really excited to see that as well as the app. But in the meantime, what is the best place for people to go to find out more information?
It would be LinkedIn if you're a business professional. We also have a Facebook page for contractors, closers, and connections. So certainly check that out. There will always be, right as we announce a new event, it'll be right on those social media sites. So that's where all the information can be found. You can see we're big on picture galleries and videos, so you can see the fun, non-intimidating networking experience that we've created with the CCC. So you can see a lot through those right now, Facebook and LinkedIn.
I really like that you mentioned that, because that is something that I think people new to the construction industry think that the organizations or groups that you would join might be rough or not a lot of fun or, kind of grumpy people, but it's not the case at all. Genuinely, it's the most fun ever. And it really is fun, like-minded people. So I hope that everyone goes over and checks out that LinkedIn page, because let's grow the network and get it bigger. So Chris, thank you again so much for taking time for joining us for lunch. And Scott, thanks for joining us back, because holy cow, I'm so jealous that you're all in the same state. I'm ready to hang out with everybody. What did you think about today?
Well, I loved what Chris said about the clinical psychologist and him thinking that that's what he wanted to do. And it's so important early in life to figure out what you want to do or what you don't want to do and rule things out. And I was the same way. I thought I wanted to be a doctor. And then I spent some time in a hospital and I realized I hated the smell of a hospital. And I said, that's probably not going to work out real well as a doctor. So absolutely. His story reminded me of my own path. And then Kayleen, did you pick up his comment about the lightsabers at the networking meeting? He said if I understood you right, you handed out lightsabers, Chris, and instead of shaking hands, you would touch lightsabers. Well, Kayleen and I are both Star Wars nerds. I don't know if you picked up on that earlier. So
I've got extras.
Whoa! All right.
Well, and I just want to say, I'm so impressed with what the way Chris organizes his meetings. And I've heard it said before, it's not so much what you do, it's how you do it. And Chris and his team do an amazing job of organizing these networking meetings. They're just so creative and fresh. And, you know, the last one I was at, they had a photo booth there where you could get with your coworkers or your new friends that you met and have a photo to create. It was really amazing at. So anyway, Chris, thank you for joining us today, man. It's so good to see you. And I look forward to seeing you at another event very soon.
Coming on up, 422. I'll see you guys there. And thank you so much for having me.
Sounds good, Chris. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Yes, fantastic. I am putting that into my Palm Pilot and marking the calendar date down. This was a lot of information, and I really encourage everyone to check out these pages about the network. Sometimes it's not just about the hammering skills that you have. So gentlemen, thank you both again for joining me for lunch today. It was a lot of fun, very informative. And next week, I hope you all join us because we are going to be geeking out about the architectural industry, which I'm really excited about, Scott, because I know you and I have definitely nerded out over some buildings in the past. So next week is going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds good, Kayleen. I look forward to seeing you again. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye, Chris.
Yes,
Thanks.
excellent. Friend, and also make sure you text 31996 and actually career path to 31996 with any questions. And if you want to see all of our episodes, you can go to cefca.org and check them out there. So Scott, it was awesome as normal. Have a great rest.
Thanks, Kayleen. See you soon.
Day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
You still there, Kim? Oh, just me. All right.